So yeah, England is taking on Fiji. Obviously, we'll be live at the Beer District. Looking at both teams, interesting selection choices. The likes of Tangi Tangivalu is back. Botia has now started, I think, the last 3 games. He's been immense off the bench, causing real havoc and actually changing the game. So this time he's he's on the field from the onset. Then Itoje, Courtney Laws, the big boys are back after their games. They'd already qualified before their last game in the group stage, in the pool stage, against Samoa. Ben Al, obviously, starting at 8. Tom Curry is back as well. He played the last game, but he got a red card in the first game, so he missed the subsequent 2 games. So ideally, he's only played 1 game in like 10 minutes or 12 minutes or something like that. So he's back. I'm seeing a lot of the selection of the England team is a big focus on set pieces. They will want to dominate the scrums, and they will look to dominate lineouts, because if you compare the 2 teams, England is better at both. Last game I watched, Fiji lost to Portugal, and before that they narrowly scraped through against I forget who they were playing. But one thing I realized from that game, was it Georgia? I think so. I can't remember. One thing I realized from that game is when they have the tag of favorites, they just couldn't play. They couldn't play off line out ball. Their line out was, because when they expected to go on the front foot, when you get a penalty, they expected to kick for touch and build from that. You know, when they're playing teams that are of lesser, like your Portugal and all these guys, then it's like they drop down to the competition level. Their set pieces are not strong enough to actually dominate teams that are lesser than them. That's been a real issue for them. But Fiji are quite dangerous when they play a team that is better than them, right? Because they are experts at living off scraps. They are good at just hitting people, getting turnover ball, and playing off turnover ball. Because when you play the big sides, they don't get much of the ball, right? And they have a chance to actually really have the ball. I mean, when they get the ball, like really run at opposing teams, but they're running into space. They're not running into men. They're not running into set defenses. So that's the one thing I've seen with Fiji. They will try and limit. For them, they just have to try and limit as many set pieces in their own half. Like, just play territory game. But the one thing I know about Fiji is they will not kick the ball a lot. So that's something we need to know about them. And then interesting selection for England. Marcus Smith playing. There's no Freddie Stewart. I'm not sure if he's injured, but I think just the game requires someone who can break the game, right? Like, England have to select people who can play. With having Marcus Smith and Owen Farrell in the team, now you have 2 fly halves, and off racks, off set pieces, your first 5, you have 2 options, right? You're not reliant on one person. And I feel like England having that balance gives them more organization in the backline. Marcus Smith is also quite elusive and running into space. Like, he can create space from nothing. So I feel like this game will suit him just because of the broken play nature that Fiji will try and introduce into the game. The other thing about them having Marcus Smith at the back is that Fiji are not amazing at kicking at you, right? Like, kicking for territory, kicking for territorial dominance. So it's not a big risk having Marcus Smith there. Ideally, I would like to see someone like Stewart in there if you're playing a team like Ireland. But since they're playing Fiji, that back 3 of Radradra, Habosi, and Rosese, they're not known as the best kickers. Like, I mean, they're right, but they're not like James Lowe, tactical kickers. So it also works in England's favor. Marcus Smith, one thing I've seen about him is he tries and plays the 15 position almost like a 10. And the difference with that is, let's say we have the ball, right, as England. The one thing he keeps on doing at 15 is that you'll find him coming up a bit too early, because he, in his mind, is so used to lining up as a 10. But as a 15, sometimes you just have to come a bit deeper. You have to vary your runs going into, like, once your backline has the ball, right? So that's the one thing I see with Marcus Smith. He's been slowly working on it, obviously improving, but he's a fly-off at heart and someone who just loves the ball. Like, just he's like a kid who just wants to play, and that's the one thing about Marcus Smith. Like the boy he's a mad talent. Like he's a game breaker as well. So I can see why he's been chosen for this game. Johnny May, Elliot Daly in the 11-14, I guess they've just gone for experience, like not much there. And then Tuilangi in midfield, Joe Marchant. I feel like they're more than capable to keep up with the physicality of the Fijians. So it's good. It's a good team. Elliot Daly versus Semi Radradra is also going to be a very good matchup to watch out for. Hopefully Botitu doesn't miss too many kicks. I know like just Fijians generally have issues with kicking at goal. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But I expect England to win. England should win this game by about 7 points. They are clear favorites. They have selected a team, especially with the forwards, that will try and dominate set pieces. More than capable in doing that. They have a good kicker in Owen Farrell. They have a game breaker in Marcus Smith. Fijians have shown that, on their own set pieces, they're a bit shaky, their own lineouts and stuff. So I feel like there's many opportunities for England to put pressure on Fiji. And yeah, with that being said, I expect England to win by 7 points and to make it to the semi-final and play the winner of France versus South Africa. Peace!